So when we talk about trust, what does that look like? I know we mentioned it's fragile. It's one of those things that you gain over time, but it can also be what?
Lost quickly.
Welcome to Doing It with the Daniels, the podcast where we navigate life, marriage, and ministry. I'm Charles.
And I'm Tesa. Join us as we share insights, wisdom, and practical advice to strengthen your marriage, empower your life, and enrich your ministry.
Let's dive in together and discover the joys of doing it with the Daniels.
Hey, welcome to Doing It with the Daniels, where we help couples get it on in life, marriage, and ministry. We're so happy to have you again today. How you doing, babe?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great today.
That's good.
Glad to be back for another episode of Doing It with the Daniels.
I am glad to be back.
We always have fun when we do these episodes.
Yeah, we do.
I really enjoy it. Listen, if you've been enjoying Doing It with the Daniels, I want to encourage you to make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. And if we say something that catches your interest, give us a comment. We would love to hear from you. Let us know how you feel about these episodes that we're sharing with you, the content that we're sharing. And if there's anything you want us to talk about, let us know. We'll be happy to discuss that on a future episode.
That's right.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today?
Today it's all about rebuilding trust after infidelity.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That is really good. You know, it blows my mind the number of couples who have experienced infidelity in their marriage.
Yeah.
With us offering counsel as pastors and helping different people from different arenas. Some people that we've even talked to online that have come to us and asked us for guidance. Just seeing the number of them that have dealt with infidelity in their relationships. It's just been amazing. I mean, not really expecting that. Yeah. Especially from a certain group of people. You just be like, I thought everybody was good on the up and up, but I think it's one of the bigger challenges in the relationship. And today we're not really focusing on the infidelity.
No.
We're really talking about what happens afterwards when a couple decides to stay together.
Exactly.
When they decide they're going to work it out, they're going to try to get through it, and what that looks like. So what do you think about that?
I think the biggest thing that a couple would have to get through is rebuilding trust.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing. I think that's that's one of the hardest things to have to do in any relationship. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, regaining that trust and that security in the relationship is really challenging. Yeah. And some people never do it. They're never able to get back to that place of fully trusting their spouse. Right. But then there are others who they do. They put the work in and they recover. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It takes work. Yeah. And not only on one party, but it takes work on both parties. Yeah. Both parties have to be invested. Both parties have to be involved, and both parties have to put in the work. Even if you are not the one that, was the what do you call it? The infidel. Infidel. Yeah. Even if you're not that person that was the one, you still have to put in work. Yeah. And that's what I don't know, if sometimes when you said that it doesn't work, if that other person feels like it's their job to put in the work, to do the things necessary to get them back on course.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Both parties play a role in the recovery. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, you'll notice that even in what we understand about it, the victim, we'll say the infidel and the victim. Yeah. The victim really plays a big part of the relationship recovering. Yeah. And I think most of them don't see it that way. They see it as you messed up. It'll be fixed when it's fixed, when you get right and you make changes, but that's not really the case. There's a lot that the victim has to do with the recovery process, how long it takes, and if they even recover. Right. So yeah, I think both parties need to know that you have a part in it. And we won't get into this part, but many people will tell you that both parties had a role in the affair. Yeah. As well. And that's a whole nother piece to navigate.
That's a whole nother piece.
Yeah, even if you feel like I didn't do anything,
you still played a role at some point.
Yeah, if we dig deep enough, we can find the peace, and it's not always obvious.
Right.
And we've seen that a few times over in different couples that we've tried to help.
Yeah.
But that's one of the big things is navigating that, and both parties knowing they play a role in the recovery. So when we talk about trust, what does that look like? I know we mentioned it's fragile. It's one of those things that you gain over time in a relationship. You get to know somebody, you start building trust, and over time it's developed over consistencies and different things that happen in the relationship. But it can also be what?
Lost quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you gain it slowly, but the minute something happens, you lose it so fast.
Yeah. I mean, it can be lost in a moment. And many people have experienced that where, we have this loving relationship. We trust one another. We got years invested. And one little thing, one moment
can lose it all.
Yes.
You can lose it all.
Yeah. So I think one of the key things people have to understand is that trust is fragile. And you have to respect trust in your relationship. You got to really value it. Yeah. You cannot view it as something that just doesn't really matter, because in a relationship day to day you don't think about trust. You don't. When you have it, you don't think about it. No. It's
when you lose it.
It's when you lose it. It's all you think about.
It's all you think about.
Regaining that trust, rebuilding what was fractured and what was lost in the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's huge.
Yeah, but it can be recovered, but it's a process.
It's a process.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes that process is slow, sometimes it's fast. It just depends on the two individuals and how fast and how slow they're willing to go with the process.
And it can be too fast.
Yeah.
It can be too fast that it's artificial.
Yeah. And
it doesn't yield the result that it needs to yield. In both parties, because there's a process for both parties. Yeah, and they need to be willing to walk through that process if they're truly going to rebuild that trust. Now, you can fake it, you can manufacture it, but it won't be substantial. It won't be sustaining over the long haul of the relationship.
Yeah, that's right. So infidelity causes losses in the relationship. So it's loss of respect. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, when you cheat on someone, when you commit infidelity, I mean, those individuals, it's the victim. I want to try to keep it like that. The victim, there's a certain level of respect and value or worth that they had placed on that person. Yeah. That they lose.
It's gone.
It's gone. Yeah. And they may want to get it back, and they can work to get it back, but in the moment, it's not there. No. They see you different. They see with a different lens. Yeah. They view with a different lens, and it's not one of respect. It's one of betrayal. It's one of disgrace. It's one of a loss of value, as I said before. That's tough. But parties need to understand. Both parties need to understand, especially the one who committed the infraction, the infidelity. They need to understand that these things have taken place. Like, you didn't just go do what you wanted to do. When you did it, you took something from the marriage. Yeah. You took something from the relationship. I don't care how long. You could have been together since high school, middle school, college, or whatever. When you committed that infraction, you robbed the relationship of something that you may not get back. Right. Or you're going to have to get it back, but it's going to be your new norm. You see what I'm saying? It's a new normal that comes into that relationship. You recover, but it's not like what it used to be. So you have to grieve what was. Yep. And that's where the anger, the frustration, the outburst, the hurt, the disappointment, the crying, all of that. Some even go to the point of separation for a season. Yeah. All of that has to happen in order for you to grieve what was lost, because nobody wants to lose that. No. Truthfully, but you don't think about it in the moment. Right. You don't think about, the consequences and what it's going to take and the damage that you're going to do, not only to your spouse, but the relationship and how you're going to move forward, in all of that. And I think some people want you to just forgive them and just let everything go back to normal. But there's no, like you said, there's no normal. Now we have a new normal. Yeah. And we have to function this way until I can, forgive you. Yeah. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. No, I was going to say, even if you don't get caught, it's still a new normal for you in your psyche, because now your conscience is no longer clear.
Yeah,
So even you have to be able to function with that stain on your conscience while you try to go back into what was the norm.
Yeah.
And it is different.
It's different.
Yeah.
So the next one was loss of trust, which we've talked about that.
Yeah. Yeah. You lose the trust of your partner. And we can go deep with that when you talk about loss of trust. That's where the stuff that normally happens in life that you think nothing about, it doesn't work like that. Now that victim views everything through a
different lens.
Yeah, there's this eye of suspicion.
Yes.
That's on everything you do. So if you come home later than usual from work after committing infidelity, the thought you can't stop the thought from entering that person's mind of, what are you doing? You must be out cheating.
If you go to the grocery store or if you go run out and do something, anything that's out of the norm, that suspicion is going to pop up and they're going to think about, okay, why are they doing this?
Right. They will always doubt your honesty. You see what I'm saying? And we're not talking about this to say that you can't recover, but we want people to understand before we get to some of the things you can do and navigate recovery, you have to understand that this is what happens.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. This is ministry for us. It's an opportunity to help people.
Yeah.
Somebody may be watching this who's tempted by infidelity. You're considering infidelity. The enemy is trying to pull you into something. And we're hoping you hear this and realize, wait a minute.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, the cost is bigger than just you doing something in secret.
Right.
It's a bigger cost, and it's not worth it.
It's not.
It's not worth it. When you have a good, healthy relationship and a godly relationship, it's not worth the sacrifice of what you're going to lose.
Yeah.
If you take these steps and it's discovered in your marriage.
Yeah. And sometimes they do that because it's certain things they're not getting in their marriage.
Yeah.
But that can be worked out through conversation, going to counseling, talking to the right person to help you with the issues that you're having. Going outside the marriage won't fix it.
Yeah. The willingness to change too. There's a lot of counseling and tools and resources, but both parties have to be willing to change and make the necessary adjustments in order to get to a healthy place.
Exactly.
And then even the one who's committing the infraction has to be willing to look within and recognize, I've got to make some adjustments within me, because, I always say this, no matter what one partner does, you didn't make me go commit adultery.
Yeah.
That partner didn't make that person commit infidelity.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It was a choice, right? You may not have done what I wanted you to do. You may not have given me what I wanted. You may not have provided the affirmation that I feel like I needed. But even with me not getting those things, my commitment to God should help me maintain a boundary around our relationship where I don't go outside of that to try to satisfy my needs.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So it's still a choice. Yes, that spouse plays a role, a huge role. But at the end of the day, it's still a personal decision that I have to make within myself, or a person has to make within themselves to go and do that.
Yeah. That's good.
So so that loss, that doubt, that suspicion is going to be there. And although you forgive, you confess it, you tell what you did, they still will have a problem believing you because trust is lost.
Yeah. Even if the phone rings and they're hiding their phones. I mean, any little thing that's out of the norm that makes them. If you silence
a call, why you silence that call?
Who was that? It's
it was spam.
You got to go through all of that to rebuild trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be able to, tell everything, tell where you been, where you going, who you talking to, who you with, who going to be there, like everything. Yes. How long it's going to take for you to get there? How long it's going to take for you to get back? I mean, the details. Especially and some people don't like, initially to tell the details of their day, of everything that they have to do.
Well, that's that new norm. Why I got to do this? I didn't do this before. Well, you didn't commit infidelity before either.
Right.
So those are the different changes that come in.
Yeah.
But what else you got?
Loss of relationship freedom.
Yeah. That's we
just touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, that's that freedom of just enjoying one another without the suspicion, without the question, without being concerned about, can I really trust you? That you lose that.
Yeah. So I think we touched on all these: loss of unhindered openness and loss of human inconsistency.
Yeah, that communication piece gets hit, because now, can I really just talk to you? How do I just talk to you freely when I don't trust you?
That's hard to do.
Yeah. So that unhindered communication is gone now, because at first I felt like I was talking to my friend, my best friend, my spouse, my partner, the one I'm in covenant with. But now I'm talking to the one who betrayed me. So there's a likeliness that I'll try to conceal or withhold certain things because I don't know how you'll use it, or if I can trust you with that information.
Right. So I'm wondering, like, if you love me, or if everything that you're saying out of your mouth is really honest. Yeah. Like, are you being really honest with me? Or are you just saying stuff to just, say it? Yeah. So
that's one of the biggest challenges with trying to recover in a relationship, where there's been infidelity in a marriage, is for that victim to say, I want to trust you, but can I really trust you? You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Except there are no guarantees that your partner will be faithful.
Okay, now if a couple decides we're going to work through this, we're going to recover, one of the first things they try to do is put up some boundary lines and prevent any more infractions, right? Any more infidelity within the marriage, and say, okay, let's work on rebuilding trust, let's work on growing together, let's work on moving forward. And usually that victim wants this right here: how can you guarantee that it's not going to happen again? That's what they want to know. How can you guarantee? And you just said it. There is no guarantee that it's not going to happen again. Right?
So what do you do?
Well, you have to, if you're going to move forward, you have to move forward knowing that there's a risk involved. It's just like any other relationship, even before infidelity. When we first meet, there's a risk that you'll cheat on me. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? There's a risk that things will go crazy in the relationship. Even in marriage, after something happens and you're aware of it and you decide to stay together, there's still a risk there that they could do it again. Right? Some would suggest that the only guarantee you have is when the other party acknowledges the pain and the hurt and the loss and the betrayal that they have caused to the relationship. It's one of those things when you know that person now feels the weight of their actions, that's probably going to be the strongest motivator for them to change and not repeat those actions. Right. But beyond that, I mean, you can hack their cell phone, you can track everything, you can share your location. I mean, you can
get all the details.
Yeah, you can get all the details of everything. You can watch the bank account. You can watch the phone record. You can do all of that. There is no guarantee. And so you have to go into it believing that they're going to honestly stick with the process of rebuilding trust and eliminating any outside activities that compromise the relationship.
So that other person, they have to work on their issue also of not trusting. You know, it's a process for them. Yeah. Because you can't just blow off the handle every time, because if you're saying that you're going to stay in this, you're going to work through this, well, that's your part of it. You have to work through, okay, I said I'm going to stay. Now I have to try to work on trusting this person again. Yeah. And it's hard.
Yeah, because the infidel is working on proving that, okay, for real now, I am who I say I am. You know,
like I got it.
They're working on, they're trying to prove that, not overly. Yeah. I think you can do too much, right? And it makes it hard to believe you. Yeah. You can try to go too fast. Yeah. And it makes it seem like you just want to be over. But you understand, okay, I have to prove once again that I can be this trustworthy person. Yeah. And the victim, as you said, is also they're working on trusting again. So it's worked on both sides. Yeah. There is no you work on you and it'll fix it. No, both of us will have something to work on here if we're going to recover.
And that's what we tell the people, don't try to make it better, because it's a process. Yes. Yes, that's one of the big mistakes people make. They try to make it better. What can I do to fix it? What can I do to make it all right? You can't. What you have to do is be consistent in your character. Yeah. Be who you say you are. Do what you say you're going to do, and let them see a track record of your commitment to them. And that is one of the first levels of rebuilding trust. I could even go back before that, shut all doors. Yeah.
and avenues for you to be tempted to go out and betray the relationship again.
That's good.
Number one, shut that off. That is, delete numbers out your phone, block. Sometimes you need to change your number.
Yeah, get a new phone.
Yep, you need to get a new phone. You need to do something.
Remove people off social media. Yeah. Like, if that's it.
Or cancel your account. What do you do? Not log out. Well, delete your account on social media
account.
Yeah, everybody.
Well, you know, this is different from when we were coming up. We didn't have social media.
That's true.
So, you know, we found out somebody was cheating. It was like, what, just a cell phone, or you saw somebody somewhere, or what?
You telling people about her age.
I'm just saying.
We look like we might have had social media.
I mean, we had it, you know, but
later.
But we were married, you know, the age of, you know, with social media. So,
but I mean, we did have. I mean, you go back. I can think back to college. We had Black Planet.
I was gonna say MySpace. Is that a thing? Okay, yeah.
MySpace.
Now you
Black
telling
Planet,
it all now.
We had that stuff, right? And people were trying to hook up on those platforms where you could post a picture of yourself and all that kind of stuff. I had a profile on Black Planet. I don't know if it still exists now. I think it's gone now. But all of that, people had little aliases and all that, all kind of stuff on social media. So it's been something. It's just now you got DMs and you can call people on FaceTime. You don't have to have a phone number. You can reach somebody through social media. It's just access is a lot easier.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And so some people don't need that access. And you have to know when you can't handle that access.
Right.
And you got to delete your social media account. Like, the world will go on. Delete it. You'll be okay. You know, change your number. The people that need to have it, they'll get it.
Yeah.
I promise you, you'll be if you want to rebuild trust in your relationship, you'll do what's necessary to show that person that, hey, I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about making them believe in a certain time period. It's just about putting the things in place to say, hey, I'm serious, I'm committed, and I want to move forward.
Yeah.
And it won't always be like that. That's the thing people have to realize. This is what happens initially to get started.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to do what needs to be done initially, you're not going to get to that place where the trust is rebuilt,
right,
and the relationship begins to recover.
And so what else, something else that we tell couples is not to try to hide their pain.
Yeah.
And don't try to fix it with sex.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't hide how you feel. That's a part of the grieving of the old norm, as well as acknowledging the pain that you feel. Like all that, I'm okay. Those are lies.
Yeah. Don't
do that to yourself. You're not going to be able to get to the next place of rebuilding trust if you don't acknowledge that you're hurt by the betrayal.
Exactly.
Right? And that's for the victim. But even for the infidel has to also grieve the pain that has been caused, and the hurt that has been caused, and the loss that has been caused. So grieving takes place on both sides. And to be honest with you, you really don't get to the place of rebuilding trust until both individuals come to that place of grieving.
Yeah.
Because you don't grieve until you acknowledge what you have done and what you've lost, and the harm, the damage that you've caused.
And that causes for both of them to be honest with how they truly feel.
Yes, yes. And one of the key things with that is when they make the decision to stay together.
Yeah.
When we decide to stay together, we no longer have to dance around how we really feel.
Yeah.
We can start being honest. You see what I'm saying? But most couples aren't able to get to the honesty place because they haven't made the decision that they're going to stick together and rebuild.
Yeah. And I think that's hard because for the victim, they're scared, right? They're I don't know if they're going to do this again.
Yeah.
So, you know, I really can't say, you know, that I want to stay in this. And I think sometimes they want to stay in it, but they're like, okay, I need to see some change. I need to see some remorse. I need to see some action. I just need to see something different.
Yeah.
And I think usually they're willing to stay in it and saying, okay, I'm willing to try, you know. And sometimes, you know, even if they're just remorseful, you know, because some people, they just want you to get over it. Like, okay, yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. You know, let's just move on. And it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. One of the key factors to the victim starting and stepping into that healing process is when they begin to see the infidel, the person who committed the act, when they see them begin to grieve. Mm-hmm. When they see that person begin to grieve, when they see that person begin to feel hurt and pain and recognize what they've done, then that victim starts to step back and say, okay, now you understand. Now you realize the harm and the damage you've caused me and to our marriage, and if there's children involved, to the family, all of that. And that's when they start to say, okay, now I actually believe you're ready to go forward. Yeah.
And usually when the victim gets to that point, that's when we can pull back the layers and find out that that small little piece that they played in the infidelity. Because a lot of times the victim thinks I didn't do anything. But if you constantly, pull back some layers, we find out that there were probably some things that, you did that you really wasn't aware that you were doing.
Oh, yeah.
But both parties have to get to that place.
Yes.
You just can't go at the victim and be like, well, you did this and you did that. You can't do that initially.
Well, you mean the infidel, or you talking about the victim?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Where you're trying to find their role in the affair. I got you.
You can't initially just go after them with that. You know what I'm saying? At the beginning.
Because they're going to be defensive. They're going to be I didn't do anything.
They did, And so you have to pull back those layers, but then the infidel has to become broken, remorseful, and just really feel bad about what they did, and it all kind of ties together.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's wrap this up. What else we got? We want to make sure we give to them before we.
Oh, we didn't. Don't try to fix it with sex.
Oh yeah, you did say that. No, don't try. Physical touch can try to mask emotional pain.
Yes.
And it's just a mask. It's like a Band-Aid. Yeah. It does not heal the wound. It does not cause recovery. It's just a cover-up.
Quick fix.
It's a quick fix.
But it's really not fixing anything.
Nope. The issue is still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. So don't try to use physical touch or sex, intimacy to try to make yourself feel better. Because feeling better doesn't make it better.
No. Yeah. And don't offer comfort to one another. Be willing to talk about the pain and loss.
No, I think we said do offer comfort.
Yes, do.
Yeah, do offer comfort to one another. Like, you're both grieving.
Right.
So as you're grieving, be there for each other. You're rebuilding the relationship.
Yeah.
In a loving relationship, if my spouse is grieving or hurting, I'm going to offer comfort. I'm not going to do too much because I realize it's a sensitive matter, but I am going to let you know I recognize you're hurting.
Right.
And it's okay for the victim to do that for the infidel as well.
Yeah.
To say, I still may not like you right now, and I'm not over it, but I see you're grieving, and you're in pain by what happened, and I recognize that.
Yeah.
And offer words of comfort, or however they comfort one another.
And the last thing is stay in the process.
Yes. If you stay in the process, that's really the key. If you stay in the process, you can get to a better place.
Yeah.
And a lot of couples abort the process.
Yeah. Yes, I've heard a lot of couples start counseling or they feel like they've gotten to a place and then they stop, or they don't finish, or they just move on, you know, and they don't complete the process. But if you stay in the process, I believe that things will get better and your new normal will be better.
Yes. So I think staying in the process is getting that help you're referring to. And also staying in the process is staying committed to rebuilding the trust. Like, commit to it. Yeah. Don't give up on it.
Right.
It's going to be good days. It's going to be bad days. It's going to be some ups and downs. But stay committed to it, and you will overcome. You will get there.
Yeah.
But it's a journey.
Yeah.
But it can be restored.
I've seen couples that have faced this once they stay in the process, that they're stronger, they're better, they just love each other even more. And it's just a beautiful thing. How could something so ugly, end up, if they stay in the process, become so beautiful? Yeah.
And we've seen couples, when you mention that, we've seen couples who experience infidelity, and as a result of it, some unspoken things came to light. Things that they needed to deal with that weren't dealt with.
Right.
And because they were willing to deal with those things and go through the process, like you said, they're stronger. They're better. They have their relationship is more authentic now because some things had to come out and be dealt with. But unfortunately, it was through infidelity. Yeah. But it brought them to a better place.
A better place.
Yeah. Well, look, hopefully that helps some of you that's been watching. I hope you like and subscribe. If this was beneficial to you, comment. Let us know what you think about this. I know this is a serious matter and a sensitive topic for a lot of people, and we take that real serious. But I hope we've given you some steps, some tools, some strategy, and just understanding about what that looks like if you've been in that situation on either side. Hopefully this will be helpful and beneficial to you. So listen, thank you for joining us for another episode of Doing It with the Daniels, and we'll see you again next week. Take care.
Hey, thank you for joining us for Doing It with the Daniels. If you want to keep up with everything going on our channel, don't forget to
like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.